Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, the biggest books, the bestest looks, and all the charm it ever took. I'm Adrian Fort,
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
and we're here for Variety Hour.
I'm glad you just let yourself have that. Well, we're a little fired up right now.
Yeah,
We're a little...
this Variety Hour is being filmed in a weird time. So, not obviously not all that late for us.
Not 12:30.
But we've just shot 4 review videos,
Yeah.
including 2 on
Again, but better.
where we got seriously hyped up,
A little bit hyped up.
seriously worked up. What's your heart rate right now?
So I'm wearing my fancy smartwatch to track my heart rate because my doctor told me my heart's going to explode, and I should monitor that. We got done filming the full review for Again But Better, and my resting heart rate was at 146 beats per minute. My heart is going to explode on camera. We were that fired up by it. It was fun. It was invigorating. That is what BookTube should be.
It felt like Fight Club.
But my
I
God.
want you to hit me as hard as you can.
I want you to know, though, but like in about 20 minutes when this comes down, I'm done. You know I'm going to crash like a mother after this.
Your eyes are already crashed.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. But anyway,
We've got 3 more videos to film.
how was your week?
That's the thing. It's not about this week, it's about next week.
Okay.
I say that this is being filmed at a strange time because calendar today, 12:30 a.m., my tomorrow is the beginning of Hot and Sticky.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So I've got a little bit of work to do when I wake up, and I am glad we are done reading Again But Better. We're going to figure out what we're doing going forward. We've got a little bit of game planning to do.
Game planning to do. Well, you're starting Hot and Sticky tomorrow. Tomorrow is my birthday, so I will also be hot and sticky and passed out in a bathroom somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Why don't you do Hot and Sticky this year, Salty?
I don't know.
Here's the thing: we write our own. We write our own contract this year. This year for Hot and Sticky, if you haven't caught that yet, if you haven't caught Hot and Sticky, it's not a novel writing challenge. It's just a summer writing challenge. So we are writing a contract with ourselves for the months of June, July, August, and September.
What to complete at that period of
Yeah.
time.
What if you just said, "I want to complete 4 short stories,
It's
one a month"?
more reasonable. I am notoriously bad with writing limitations, or you have to get this amount of words.
Expectations.
Writing expectations, where you have to get this amount of words per day, because I always start out fine. The first week is always gorgeous, laying it down, feeling good. Something happens, and as soon as you fall behind, you're toast. Doesn't matter.
With something like this, that is not the same.
It's very different, and it's possible. I will mull it around.
You also said you wanted to get a short story published.
I do want to get a short story published. I have poetry published. I have criticism published. Short stories have always evaded me. Maybe. I'll give you a hard maybe.
I'm uncomfortable.
You should be. But anyway,
Put a hard maybe in my Hot and Sticky.
it would be interesting, though. It would be interesting. And honestly, if I were to do it, I think I'd want to go the trifecta. Criticism, short story, poem. Hit everything.
Oh, hit one of each?
Hit one of each.
In that case, I think you should do 2 short stories, a criticism, and a poem. That way it gives you something to concentrate on each month.
That's fair. The short story is something I've always wanted to get into because the short story is a dying art. I am at nowhere.
Let's bring it back, baby.
I am nowhere near capable in my writing tool set to handle a novel. Novels,
I'm not either.
yeah, and that's weird to say because like some people sit down, they just fire out a novel, but I have a lot of apprehension towards a novel. If I'm going to put my name on something, it better be damn good.
Well, I think that part of what it is that, and anyone who's catching this, because this is the only series on Strip Cover Lit they watch because they don't like books. This episode might suck for them. We're 4 minutes in. We're talking about this.
Yeah, we'll just talk about something else later. I've got something stupid to say, I'm sure.
The thing is, it's not just about length, right?
Yeah.
It is about a mode of storytelling. The moment I get over 25,000 words in a project, I start looking at it and saying, does anyone want to read that? Yeah. Does anyone really want to know about this? Which is unfair to myself.
And also concerning because I do the same thing. I will sit down and I will hammer hard, and it will be gorgeous. I think I'm doing great things. I love this line. Everything's working. It's a good draft. But then you get so far, you're like, why am I doing this? This isn't worth it. It's not good. I'm never going to edit this. I'm done.
So you start questioning the effort involved.
Not so much the effort, just my skill set. I don't
I'm
think
never
it's
going to
quality
edit
enough.
this. You start, that's moving forward. That's the effort involved.
I guess so. But yeah, it's more of a quality thing. You always are very self-critical of your writing. That's fine. And sometimes that is a huge detriment to your writing. But I don't know. It's a weird sensation to get into. And sometimes I've gone back on things I've written, like, honestly, like, hot damn. Getting away from this for a couple years, I'm like, that's not bad. Why shouldn't I do this more often? But I don't know. We'll see. Again, you get a maybe.
Yeah, for me, right now what I'm struggling with is actually doing the work.
Yeah.
I've got 3 short stories in my head right now that I've just got to get down, and I'm not doing it. But for anyone who missed that video, my hot and sticky list happens to be right in front of us here. I want to write June, July, August, and September. I want to finish 10 short stories, 20 poems, 10 flash fictions, 5 essays, 3 skits, 3 book skits, 1 essay, a creative nonfiction. I want to dedicate 500 words towards my project Tolstoy Tastes Like Strawberries. I want to finish Filth It Will Be, which is probably only 3 or 4 scenes away from being done. Put 500 words towards Of Larks and Crows and 500 words toward Biff Bamboozle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've come to the conclusion, since I still have one of the original drafts of Larks and Crows, like, I'm just going to publish it with my name. So I'm going to slap my name on it and just send it out there. Like, it'll take off and be great. I'll be like, yep, that's what you get.
That's what you get for trusting me.
Been in possession of that for way too long.
10 years.
10 years. By God, it has been 10 years. Oh, nope, there's the existentialism.
Yep.
There it is. I'm done now. But anyway, no, it's I like this idea better. The contract is a great idea. I enjoy that. It's much more approachable. If I were to really wholeheartedly dive into Hot and Sticky, this is a good year to do so.
I sort of stole it from Mike Warren,
Okay.
who was a creative writing instructor at Maple Woods, who got it, as I understand, from his writing program at Montana. So it is not a unique to me concept. But in those classes, you're writing the contract with your professor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different.
I don't know. I found that you're just talking on a writing standpoint of things. I enjoy writing poetry. It's a good experience, and honestly, every now and then when I've got nothing to do, I enjoy sitting down and burning through it. It's never going anywhere.
You don't know that. How do you come to your poetry, if I can ask that? It's one of the questions in the PoetryTube newbie tag that I pinned.
How do you come to your poetry?
Yeah. How do you start writing a poem?
Start writing a poem? Normally have a centralized idea what I want to accomplish with this poem, what I'm feeling, what needs to be captured by the poem. So I guess you're kind of looking at an overall spectrum, and then I start to just play with it. First and foremost, it's just a sheet of paper, and you start playing with the words. You try to make it look right, you try to make it sound right, you try to capture what you're trying to capture, and make it work. Once I get like a little bit of a draft done, and maybe I just, get a couple lines in, get a couple good lines that I feel confident about, I'll start going through and playing with them. This needs to be cleaned up, this needs to be moved, and you start developing that a little bit forward. Get a decent start, move on. Fix that up, move on. Once I've got all my scribbles done, I take it to the typewriter. Typewriter forces you to sit and think about every word that you type. It's meticulous. So at that point, you rewrite the whole thing, you work through it, change what you like, and then you got a nice little sheet. It looks a lot cleaner. That's when you can focus on your editing.
So when do you know you're done with that poem, the first draft of that poem?
I don't know how you know when it's done, besides you know when it's done. Sometimes you sit down, you read it, and you're like, that feels right. That's what I want. I'm good with this.
See, it's so foreign to me because I start with a central irony.
Okay.
And the story that I told in my PoetryTube newbie tag was part of my job is cleaning bathrooms.
Yeah.
There's these weird looking little bugs that are in the bathrooms. They're not flies, but they're something like that. And they're just weird looking sons of bitches. And you see they're very small when they're born, and you see that son of a bitch through its life. And I thought, wow, how terrible would it be to live your entire life in the bathroom and not know there's anything else, And then I realized that's me.
Yeah.
That's how you get that core metaphor. that, okay, well, that bug is me. So the way I know I'm through with that poem is when I have something that ties the two together, that makes that loop, that completes the circuit.
Okay.
You know, so the metaphors can feed into themselves. You know, like how bad would it, the irony of being born in a bathroom and not knowing there's a better world, so you live your entire existence in there afraid to leave.
Yeah.
And then the irony of, oh, well, that's me. I'm that bug because I'm here in the middle of the night cleaning these bathrooms. I spend all of my time at work. I don't know there's a bigger world out there. That's me. So when you get that circuit completed and the electricity's going through it, that's how I know that is where the poem ends. Not when I'm done, when I know when the poem ends.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. Every now and then, and like there is something to be said for this. I've never been one to do free writing, journaling, things like that. I've tried it. It's never been my shtick. But every now and then, when the moment's right, you've got that creative energy going, and every time it's usually a little intoxicated on something, you get flowing, you feel good about it, and you just sit down and you just go. Yeah. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to work. But honestly, the little nuggets, the little gems that you're going to find within that later, that's where you get your good poetry.
Yeah, Papa said, write drunk, edit sober.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's different ways to go about it. What really bothers me is the word count, because I have a problem sitting down and writing a draft, something that I know I'm going to change and edit. If I'm going to put it down, I want it to be decent. We can fix it, but make it decent first. So that's my problem. I'll sit there and I'll stare at it and I'll try to get the sentence right. And I never go past that. So a 500 word a day thing, it gets a little rough, especially when you're doing NaNoWriMo and you're looking at 1,600. There's some days where I'm like, I'm not going to write anything else today. This is it. I'm just going to stare at this. It's not my style. But I don't know.
For me, it's a matter of every once in a while I have to switch it up. Sometimes I have to say you're getting 500 words every day.
It's fair.
Sometimes I have to say you're making meaningful progress every day. Because I will find myself, if I say 500 words, I will just write 500 words and none of them mean a damn thing. But if I say you're making meaningful progress until you can't make meaningful progress, maybe I'll just get 100 words, but I like those 100 words.
And that's fair. There's different ways to approach it. And like, there is no right way, there is no wrong way.
Not only that, I think that every way is right and wrong as long as it's keeping you moving forward. Because there's times where you're going to get plugged up, regardless. So if you switch it up and you try some other way to move forward, then that's the right way at the time.
That works. But I don't know, we'll see. I like the idea of the hot and sticky contract. I think it's much more approachable. It's much more my style. I feel like instead of trying to get 500 words a day, making sure I have 4 short stories I'm happy with by the end of the summer isn't a bad idea. So we'll see. I'll mull it over. I'll put up a contract if I make my decision.
Okay.
It's probably not going to be this weekend. You're welcome. I'll get a late start.
It's because you got something going on this weekend.
Get my late start in. That's okay. Anyway, that's what I got. A little bit of writing knowledge.
Tell me an embarrassing story from birthdays. Because it's your birthday tomorrow.
It is my birthday tomorrow.
You're going to celebrate.
I'm not sure I have a good embarrassing... Ooh, it doesn't involve me.
It can, it might not.
It doesn't. I used to have a big birthday celebration every year. We called it Daltonapalooza. You ever seen the movie Old School?
Yes.
Old Will Ferrell movie? They used to put up posters that said Mitchapalooza. You remember that? They had this huge party. Mitchapalooza. So we stole it. We had Daltonapalooza every year on my birthday.
Why wouldn't you call it Daltapalooza?
Because... I don't know. But Daltonapalooza.
Daltapalooza sounds much better.
This is why I needed you back then. This was a long time ago. But we'd always have just a huge barn burner. Huge party. As many people as we get over. Everybody's welcome. Let's have fun. I watched someone once go outside because she was going to pierce her belly button with a safety pin. Because that, at her level of intoxication, was a great idea. And it being Daltonapalooza and my birthday, I said, absolutely, I'll go watch. Have fun. So I go outside, I watch this poor woman get halfway through piercing her belly button with a safety pin, look up, and I've never witnessed this before, but I watched the color drain from her face. Like it was the legitimate cartoon where it just went away. And then
like
just
a glass of water.
Straight down. Busted her front tooth. Knocked her front tooth out on the deck that we were standing on. And was just out for about 10 seconds.
Where was that safety pin?
In her belly button. Halfway through.
Luckily, it was still halfway.
It was majestic. And that is Daltonapalooza.
She could have stabbed herself with
She
it.
could have stabbed herself. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see how this weekend turns
That's
out.
not an embarrassing story, Dalton. That's just a stupid story.
Stupid and embarrassing go hand in hand. I don't have a good embarrassing story to tell you about my birthday. I'm
Not
sure.
from ever?
Not really. I have realized that I'm getting
You
embarrassingly...
hosted parties called, inexplicably, Daltonapalooza,
Yes, I did.
and never did an embarrassing thing happen.
Not really. How often do you go out to a party and see something terribly embarrassing?
You didn't say something stupid, do something
Not
stupid.
that I know of. Granted, I wasn't cognitive enough to be like, this is embarrassing and stupid.
I guarantee
But,
you.
like, no, in
I
retrospect, it's
guarantee
always been a good time.
No.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that at some point in some year of Dalton drinking, he decided he was Indiana Jones and went the rest of the night pretending to be Indiana Jones.
I've never
Or
been
Han
Indiana
Solo. Or some other Harrison Ford character.
We do have
or
stories.
decided to play the, what do you have? The didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo?
all night long.
So I used to have a cousin.
What was that? I did abuse.
I did.
That's all, folks.
I used to have a cousin who lived above a bar.
I used to have a cousin.
I still have this cousin, but he used to live above a bar downtown. It was the Buffalo in St. Joe. Family owned it. He lived in the upstairs
Is this the
apartment.
story where you're playing the didgeridoo on the?
I used to get good and lit and just go up on the rooftop and play the didgeridoo and just blow the didgeridoo and just like wave to people walking by because that's my life. That's not embarrassing. I don't see that as embarrassing.
Oh no, you're probably right.
See? This is why I don't have embarrassing stories. They're all good stories. It's fine. But I am getting embarrassingly old. Daltonapalooza has come and passed. We are going
29 this year?
29 this year, one away from 30. We're going out to dinner with a friend, and like a couple of us are going out to this dueling piano bar that I always go to. That's what I got. It's as exciting as it gets. But next year I will have a carnival.
What?
For my 30th birthday, I want a carnival.
How much does a carnival cost?
I don't know. I have looked up how much it costs to rent a Ferris wheel.
How much is that?
More than I want to spend.
How much?
I think it was like $1,200. But you can have a Ferris wheel in your yard.
Don't come to me, Dalton.
No?
Don't
No?
come to me. I'm not sponsoring this unless we charge admission.
I want a carnival for my 30th birthday. Full debauchery carnival. I want a petting zoo with animals and Josh dressed as a chicken just sitting in one of the fences.
A petting zoo at Dalton's 30th birthday could be Dalton and his friends. Most of you will just throw you and your friends in a pen
Yeah.
and charge people 50 cents to pet
I
you.
want a cotton candy maker. I want the full carnival. The full carnival. That is my 30th birthday.
A Daltival.
I don't want to tell
A
any
Gentrival.
I don't want to tell any of my family members about it though. I just want them to wake up one day and see a Ferris wheel in my yard.
There will be a giant slide with your father just throwing people down. They call it the gym slide.
Gym slide. He'd be about it. That's fair. That's fair. So
The Jimajadoo.
last year I took my mother out for my birthday because as I get older that sounded like an appealing idea and it was. We had a great time. She is out of town this year, so I have no one to drink with. So Adrian, you could be my mother this weekend.
I'm your daddy, son.
You could come along. We'll invite Jim. You guys can bond. It'd be a great time. You can film it. I don't care. We'll put it on Bantam.
I work tomorrow.
Take a day off. It wouldn't kill you. When's the last time you took a day off work?
What do you mean took a day off?
When's the last time you just called in and said, I'm not coming today. I'm sorry.
2003.
I think you're overdue.
You get fired doing that where I work now.
Do you? Just
Yes.
for one? You haven't called in 16 years. You're that guy.
I was upset because George Bush had said something about the draft.
Like, you need to justify. You need to call your boss and be like, listen, I know I called in 16 years ago, but I'm not feeling well.
I know I called in 5 stores and 7 managers ago.
But I'm not feeling well and I need the day off.
Yeah, and this being on the internet is absolutely the way to get away with it.
Fine. Nobody watches this.
Yeah,
It's fine.
That is a straight. No one in my life watches this.
fair.
People in your life do.
People in my life do. So,
Someone
like,
would tell on you.
It never fails if I like tell a story of like a gym story
Or a girl piercing her belly button story?
She doesn't watch the show. But if I tell a Jim story and I get like a small detail wrong, he will text me and be like, "Didn't do that. You got it wrong." I'm like, "Thanks."
What was the part he corrected you about? It was the Minnesota story.
It was the Minnesota story. I can't remember if he either threw or headbutted this guy. I don't remember. He assaulted the man, and he texted me
To glorious applause.
to glorious applause, and he texted me, he was like, "That is not how I assaulted him. This is how I assaulted him. Get your facts straight, son. If you're going to put this on the YouTube program, you better have it right."
You know,
anyway.
it really is strange how the fine line between getting away with assault and not getting away with assault.
It's all public perception.
Yeah. It is weird, isn't it?
It is.
Because basically 80% of the stuff that your father does in public could get him thrown in jail, apparently. But since he's perceived as an affable guy, it's just like, oh, well, you know, that other son of a bitch had it coming.
It always starts with somebody's being a jackass, and he had it coming, so in steps Big Jim. But anyway, it's a thing. My sister watches this show. She gives me shit. Megan watches this show. She gives me shit. Friends of mine watch this show. I can't talk. I can't tell any stories anymore because they will all come back to haunt me.
Yeah, there's no Jeremy stories.
There's no... Jeremy watches the show now. If he'd go back 6 years, I'd be talking shit on him. But now I can't. Damn. Anyway.
There's a story, they wrote a book about it, and they eventually made it into a movie. There was a town in Missouri where there was this real son of a bitch.
In cold blood.
Is that it? Mm-hmm. With the bully? Mm-hmm. The guy who was just a bully?
Sykeston, Missouri.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where he was just a shit starter.
Yeah.
And eventually, he showed up, there was just his dead body, and there's like 30 different bullet holes in it from 30 different guns, and nobody knows what happened.
And nobody talked.
Yeah. That's a hell of a story.
It is. It is. I've never actually read the book. It is one, when I was working
I know a woman from the town.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's how I heard about it.
When I was working in law enforcement, since that is a Missouri thing, everybody reads that book. That's the one book they've read. So, like, they always talk about it, and they always come to me because they're like, "Oh, you do that book thing." I'm like, "Yeah, but I haven't read that book, so tell me about it again."
I'm surprised that's a bigger deal. I had no idea about it.
Huge
it was the
deal.
60s, 70s?
Fairly recently, but essentially, the entire town came together and murdered this man who was basically a menace. And then when the police showed up, nobody knew who did it.
Yeah.
Interesting how that works.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was before modern ballistics, right?
I'm sure.
So they couldn't figure out what guns were.
I've always imagined that's how I'm going to go. Like one day I'm just
All
going
of St. Joseph, Missouri is just going to wake up one morning. You know who I hate? The fuzzy fella.
No, I just imagine like all my family lives on one block, so one day I'm just going to keel over dead. The police are going to show up there and be like, "Didn't see anything."
Yeah.
No.
I'm undoubtedly going to have a heart attack in my apartment, and no one's going to know about it for weeks.
My resting heart rate during our last video review was 146 beats per minute. I am going to have a heart attack
You live
later
with
this
people.
evening.
You can survive heart attacks.
We'll see.
If you get care, you survive heart attacks.
Here's the thing. Megan, absolutely. Would she take care of me? I know she would. But if she's at work, I have to rely on Josh.
Josh will get the dogs, and the dogs will take care of you.
Maybe so. Like, honestly, I've always imagined if Josh had to take me to the hospital, we'd probably stop at McDonald's on the way. Just be like, I would be dying in the car. He'd be like, "Hold on."
Like you'd be suffering a heart attack, and you go, "Oh my God, hold on. Yes, Uber Eats. I would like this Big Mac. Now I've got to call 911.
So I've been trying to eat healthier.
Is Uber Eats by phone? How do you do that? Is it an app?
It's an app.
Oh, it's an app. Wow.
Yeah. I've been trying to eat better. I'm trying to quit smoking. Haven't had a cigarette in a week. Yay. It's been a long week.
It's about 3 weeks when you're going to start. That's when typical Dalton goes back.
The worst part is, though, every little thing, every little creak that you have, like, I'm like, "Oh, my arm hurts." This is it.
Yeah.
This is how I go. Like, I'm at that point now where I'm just like, well, it's been a good ride.
So ever since I had that incident at work that was whatever it was, I'll get pain in my elbow, and I'm like, "Oh, which arm is it that a heart attack's on?"
You do that too?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that feels like a vein pain. That doesn't feel like that's not a muscle. That's not joint. There's no tendon there, you know?
Yeah, it's been an experience. An absolute experience. I say this now wholeheartedly knowing this time tomorrow I'm going to be drinking Long Island's by the bucket, but that's fine.
Yeah.
because the bar I go to serves them by the bucket.
And you're an idiot.
Why?
You're an idiot.
I said I was going to go to the bar and I was going to have a couple of cocktails. I didn't justify their 64-ounce buckets. Just having a couple, though. It's fine. It would be okay.
Are people allowed to smoke in there?
You can smoke outside.
Outside?
Yes. You can't smoke in bars anymore.
I didn't know if it was ever or anywhere or...
So the Power and Light District, like, you can go into the bar, and you have actually a little fenced-off patio, basically. You can go stand out and smoke, but you can't actually smoke in the bar itself.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So I'll be standing on that patio, puffing away on my pretend cigarette. It'll be fun. Which I carry in my pocket like old men carry real cigarettes, but it's fine.
You've got one emergency cigarette.
I have one emergency cigarette in my car, and it's been in the car all week. I might smoke it on the drive home. Got to settle this heart problem.
Yeah.
Just got to calm down a little bit.
Got to get a little bit of menthol in you.
Got to get a little bit in. It'll be okay. That's all I need.
That's all you need.
Anyway,
You need a couple more.
I don't think I do.
You want to go get some Marlboros?
No.
I got some cigars.
You ever smoked a Marlboro?
No.
Ugh.
I don't smoke cigarettes.
Ugh.
I've tried cigarettes.
And that's the worst part. Like, when you get away from smoking for so long, eventually you're going to have a cigarette. I am perfectly aware there will be another cigarette in my life. It's not end all be all. But that first cigarette you ever smoke again tastes so bad.
Say that sentence again.
That first cigarette that you ever smoke again tastes so bad.
Because you didn't quit, you stopped.
Because you stopped. And the problem is...
Ever smoke again?
Ever smoke again, because you taste bad and you're like, that's not right. I better have another. That's not right at all. And that second one's not bad. It's usually about half a pack
It's
later.
just not good.
Half a pack later, you're like, that's the ticket. That's the one. Interestingly enough.
It's always the 8th cigarette, isn't it?
Interestingly
I'll
enough,
just start
like,
smoking the 8th cigarette.
Did you know things have smells? Like, I can smell things. It's miraculous.
Probably not the best idea at my apartment.
It's a little weird, but I haven't commented on it yet, so it's fine. You got anything else this week?
No.
Okay, you want to end this?
This has been Variety Hour, where you were witness to the biggest books, the bestest looks in all the charm it ever took. And eventually I'll get Dalton to say that and love it.
Were 2 necessary? 2 in one video? Carry on.
And love it. If you enjoy this sort of thing, we do Variety Hour once a week. We also drop videos daily here in 2019. Almost said 17, because we've been reading a certain book here. Threw me off. Now I don't have my train of thought. Maybe hit the like button, maybe hit the subscribe button if you want to be around for more. And here's an interesting thing. We are inching towards Dalton being able to take a day off of work a week.
A part-time man.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're inching towards that here on the channel. So if you would like to help us get to that goal, there is a link, as always, to our Patreon to be found in the description below. Once he is working a day a week entirely on the channels, I will have him chained to a desk, and we will have more what was it, promotions? We will have more videos on the other channels as well.
It's disconcerting. That's literally what we're working towards.